31 points. That's the difference between the share of women who say the economy is in bad shape and the share who say that the economy is doing well. I'm a reporter here at the Journal. You're my supervisor. Why do we see this pervasive pessimism among women about the economy?
Women see the economy differently because they experience it differently. They've made gains in the economy, but they have different challenges. And I think they also take on different responsibilities in their household. I think in order to understand these findings, we should talk to some women who took the poll.
Well, we did. We asked them why they feel so pessimistic and uncertain about the economy.
I feel like the economy is spiraling, especially for women, because, of course, there's always been a pay gap.
This difference between men and women in how they view the economy, with women being more pessimistic, that's a durable feature of American life, and it goes back decades. Here's the Michigan Consumer Confidence data. It shows the sentiment that consumers feel about the economy, and this goes back to 1979. But lately, it's been growing. In the last 6 years, in our most recent poll, the gap between men and women was the widest, more than any other point since 2019.
There's two things we know here. One, women tend to lean more Democratic, and two, people have a more pessimistic view of the economy when their preferred party is out of power.
That's true. People do look at the economy through a partisan lens, but when you look at this data, the women are more pessimistic than men, even when Democratic presidents are in office. Let's talk about some of the specific findings in our Wall Street Journal NORC poll. Women more than men said that they were switching to less expensive groceries at the grocery store to save money, said that they weren't confident that they would have money for a vacation or to buy a car or to have a comfortable retirement. When it comes to expectations of the future, women were more pessimistic than men. When we asked, is the economy going to get better in the next year, half of women said no. They expect the economy to get worse. Only 20% expected the economy to get better. And when we ask about our children's generation, life for the kids coming after us, women were far less confident that our kids would have an economically prosperous life more than we've had. Janet, you're a working parent and you're a reporter who has reported in this area. What thoughts do you have about why we're seeing this uncertainty and fragility among women in the economy?
We know that women in general earn less than men, and one variable is that women tend to take on more caregiving. They're making a calculation about having flexibility, perhaps working fewer hours, so they can be home and take care of their families. And so I think what you see is that oftentimes, especially over time, that can compound and put pressure on their earnings. So even when their family is out of their house, even when their kids are grown, by the time they're in that last phase of that career, in some ways women's earnings can be behind.
When we talked to women in the poll, we heard much the same thing.
There still is a lot of, you're going to get married, you're going to have children, so you better pick a job where you can manage children, whether you're going to stay home with them for a while or you're going to have a job that allows you a little more leeway.
Another thing that came up is the mere fact that more single-parent households are headed by women than by men. About 20% of kids in America live in a single-parent household headed by a woman. It's less than 5% of kids living in a single-parent household headed by a man.
You know, I'm a single woman, has gone through a lot in my life and didn't really prepare. I just had a child young. You ain't saving nothing when you had a kid and you're a single mom.
A number of women in our survey told us that women still face discrimination in the workplace.
It just seems to be more male dominant when it comes to the best jobs or what I consider decent jobs. I feel like it's harder for a woman to be in a rural area. It's primarily run by men.
Another factor is that men and women look for different clues in the economy in terms of how it's doing. One big thing is groceries. So research shows that groceries have an outsized impact on how people view the state of the economy. Of course, inflation has been high in recent years, and women tend to be the ones who do more grocery shopping in their households.
Even bread. Oh my God, bread, coffee. I buy basic food. I have not made one purchase that's under $100 in weeks. And that's with just 2 or 3 bags.
And men, more than women, paid attention to the stock market. Political analysts tell us the same thing, that men tend to think about the macro elements of the economy, stocks, unemployment, and women take more cues from their immediate lives, such as grocery prices. Women more than men seem to have lost faith in the American dream and the idea that working hard in this country will get you ahead economically. We heard something like that from Yoko Smith. She's living in Lincoln, Nebraska, and has a 32-year-old son who lives with her.
For his generation, I don't really think it's possible. Most people who are successful, they say they started their business in the garage or parents' home or whatever, but parents could be a business owner or surgeon. You have to have some kind of heads up to be able to be really successful.
We're heading into a political year with the midterm elections next year. And of course, the economy is going to be central in that election.
Trump talks all the time about bringing down the cost of eggs. Does that tell us anything about the findings we have here?
That's certainly an attempt to talk to people where they are in the grocery stores. And that's a message that our poll suggests could resonate with women even more than with men. Because at the same time, what he has going for him is this booming stock market. And he talks often about how high the stock market is right now, and it's setting records. That's a message that our poll suggests could resonate with men more than women.
One of the things this poll does tell us is that this issue is very important for women. So for both parties, it's going to be important for them to figure out the right message to their voters in order to give them the kind of confidence about the future of the economy that they want to see in who they elect.